Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Matty.
And I'm Lewis.
This is the Wigan Way, Wigan's favourite rugby league podcast.
He'll put you in his trap 'cause he's a union man. He's got it all figured out. He won't care what you think 'cause he's a northern man. He's allowed to speak his mind. His mind.
The Wigan Way podcast is brought to you by Cherry and White Pins, a local Wigan Warriors themed pin badge company with a variety of Wigan ranges. You can get free shipping on all orders when you use the code THEWIGANWAY, that's The Wigan Way, all in capitals, at checkout. Thanks to them for supporting the show.
So, thank you for joining us again this week on the Wigan Way. It's an exciting week before the internationals, and we've gone back top of the table, clear top of the table. I should add 2 points. You'd have took that at the start of the year, going into the international break with the fixture congestion that we've had, not having a week off, the Challenge Cup final being won, the World Cup Challenge being won, and top of the table. It's almost perfect.
Would you have taken that? Of course I would. It's perfect in almost every way.
Yeah, and it's such a good feeling, isn't it? Like, think about rugby and it's just got a smile on your face straight away.
And when you put it into context as well, I know Matty said a couple of times in consecutive weeks now, the fact that we've obviously only had, 2 home games in the league? I think is it 3 in
This is
total?
our third.
Three.
Third or fourth.
Yeah. London was the third, should I say. Yeah, this week was the third. So when you take that into consideration, we've had all away games, we've had a big home and we've had fixtures coming in as well. When you put it into that context, it's even better.
Yeah, definitely. Lads, how's your week been? Matty, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Really good. I mean, it's good when Wigan win, isn't it? Wigan top of the table, like you just said, no complaints at all.
Lewis, how you doing, pal?
Yeah, no complaints, mate, no complaints. Enjoyed the week. We've got some nice weather coming in towards the back end of the week and the weekend, didn't we? So it was nice for
It's been good today as well.
coming in some longer nights and stuff, so always puts people in a better mood, doesn't it? So it's good.
Good weather, 4 trophies.
Euros
top of the
fever.
league.
Euros fever.
Euros fever, yeah. Couldn't ask for much more. Right, let's dive into the match. We played London at home, 36 points to 0. Got to see a few changes. Young Jack Farman played. December Walters in second row. What were your thoughts on the games, lad?
I think we probably need to start with Jack Farman, don't we? Because that's what people will be expecting us to talk about. That's what people will be thinking about themselves. The 18-year-old came in for his second appearance, his first ever home game. He had 6 from 6 with the boot, 2 tries. Laid one on for Jake Wardle.
Blew his hat-trick.
He blew a hat-trick, yeah, but...
That would just mean that.
There's
no need to bring
I was talking him up
I mean,
then.
you did, don't get me wrong. But
His brother said... his brother said his dad was proud of the try-saver.
Yes.
Try-saver as well. Doesn't often get a mention, but saving tries is as good as scoring one. Especially when you're trying to keep that clean sheet.
You know what? I was thinking about this. Matty Peets and the coaching staff are probably more impressed with that try-saving tackle and his involvement defensively than the try he scored or the try he set up.
I think they'll be very excited about the try that he scored, just purely because of how he scored it and how we, as a club and as a team, are currently built off that sort of quick step, get through the gap, get outside defenders, that sort of way we play, that he just did that.
I think it was impressive the way we took the game by the scruff of the neck. I suppose actually in a weird way, half-back as a young kid coming in can be one of the easier positions to play, in the sense of you can rely on the other half-back, and especially when you've got someone like Bevan French at full-back, you can just catch a little tip on, like that Hampshire control.
It can either be the easiest or the hardest position to play.
Yeah.
I agree
And
with
he
you,
did,
but I will say one thing. That's true if you're in a good side because you need to have good defenders around you.
Yeah.
Halfback, as a young halfback, can be really tough just defensively, I think, more than
I
anything.
suppose. But I mean, in terms of like for him, obviously he took the game, he had a running game, passing, he took the goal, kicking on. He really kind of said, you know what, this is my opportunity here for trying to compete
lad,
for a
taking
shirt,
them goal
and
kicks
he went for it, didn't he? And you know, he didn't just pass the ball little quick tips off even he said, you know what, pass this ball to me, I'm going to challenge some defenders.
That's what I was expecting because London away, he was just a bit organising. He shuffled the ball on, he defended well. He was confident, but he was very much tip it on, you do the magic. Whereas here, he was very much play for himself, back himself, which I loved. I know he's only 18, and we spoke last year about junior. We've got to cool it. Can't play every week. Can't play like this every week.
And he will have a bad game at some point when he comes into a Wigan shirt where things don't work and things go wrong.
He's bound to. There was a lot of criticism for Harry Smith when Harry Smith was this age. Still some criticism for Harry Smith. I'm not sure most of it's warranted, but there's going to be some tough games and there's going to be some difficult moments, and whether or not he's got the character, I presume he has, because he wouldn't be playing for Wigan otherwise. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it progresses.
It's nice. We've seen a couple of our young kids, haven't we? We've seen Farriman now. Obviously, Eckersley's had a couple of games in there with Keevan's band. We've seen, obviously, Walters come in December.
Douglas
building what he's done from last season.
had a good debut, didn't he?
So it's nice we're seeing some young, talent coming through. Our academy's been successful over numerous years. It's good to see. It still is. Yeah,
still 100%. Very successful.
Just to look at Farriman, 17 tackles on home debut, really good. 7 tackle busts, another really impressive thing that he's really attacked the line really, really well, and 120 running metres. Just a general all-round performance from him. It didn't seem like he did one thing particularly well. His hands were really, really good, kicked really well. An all-round performance. Should we dive into the game then?
We should.
Yeah. Open the scoring really early on. Farriman, we talked about him. Really impressive, that left foot step to beat Lee Kershaw. And we were talking just then, just off the recording. His hands to then, he throws like a second dummy. After he beats Lee Kershaw, he throws that second dummy as if he's passing to Wardle and beats the halfback of London. I forget his name, the number 7 for London.
Meadows.
To beat Meadows on his inside. And then that explosive pace. We talk about French and Field being extremely quick and martial, but it's how quick they get up to that top speed.
If I said to you, someone's going to tip a ball on, and then someone's going to dance through 3 people and cut through a gap and huge left foot step and throw 2 dummies and score, you're expecting that to be Bevan French. But actually, Bevan French was the one just laying the ball on for Farriman.
But what really surprised me, and that was that express pace. He got up to top pace really quick and was through a gap before anyone could react. Brilliantly finished. Really, really good work.
I love an halfback who takes the line on. I said it when Williams come on the scene. I said it when Will Price in more recent times come on the scene. You can only tell halfbacks are going to be good ones because they're not scared of wear a tackle. They get into the line with that. They put a step on, and there's a good chance when you put a step on, someone's way to be inside, and you whir one. But it builds you that as an halfback when you take the line on. I do love it when, especially young halfbacks come on and they're not. There's no fear. Take the line on, don't be scared of wear a tackle. And get stuck into that line, start asking questions of defenders.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. Wigan's second try. Farriman scores again. Mainly through the work of 2 big forwards. Mago started the game. How are we with Mago starting this game? Obviously, not a role that he's...
I can't remember him ever doing it before.
I think he might have done it once, maybe. I feel like he did it against Leeds at home once. And I might be wrong with that.
There was a forward recently. Was it Spencer Leniu? Who was starting his first game, and he'd made over 100 off the bench. And I often think about those players thinking they're just purely impact players, and Mago's like that. So I was surprised to see him starting. I think he went okay.
I think if it's serving the purpose of just getting some minutes
Yeah.
into Maygo, then, we're resting a couple of people. We had a bit of a squad change, no disrespect, but with it being London,
And he's got the week off.
yeah, that's it. He's got a week off now at international break. So if he needs to get some certain purpose of getting minutes into him, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And Vega's played a lot of minutes. He's played every single game. He's our only ever present.
Yeah.
Could definitely do with a week off, but they knew he was getting that week off. So it's sort of the luxury you can take.
Shove him in, but yeah, he did nicely on this.
Yeah.
Let's try.
But this try, Brad O'Neill to Faramond. You talked about him taking the line on. Plays a flat pass to Maygo, who manages one-on-one to sort of half break this tackle. Find December on his outside, who's gone through the line. December shows a little bit of pace, covers 20 yards or so, and then starts to get tackled by, I forget his name, Adebayo.
Yeah.
Faramond doing really, really well, something that you like, backing up on the inside after he'd already been involved in the play. He was there to start it.
Well, every
Past
good
the Maygo.
halfback does that, don't they?
Yeah.
You think any good halfback backs up on the inside. George Williams, Cameron Munster, you name it. Every great halfback. Danny Maguire made a living out of it, didn't he, early in his career?
Backing up on the inside, gets himself another try, 2 to his name. At this point, 12 points to 0. It's only 12 minutes into the game. There's a potential for you to start overplaying and trying to score points for fun. I think we did okay in this first half at just sticking to the process and not really trying to score off every single tackle. It's funny how you play these games. And that's what I sort of want to ask you. There's a lot of talk about getting points difference up, and I think it becomes a potential hiccup if you try and go into these games trying to get 60, 70, 80.
Yeah, I don't think you can really do that. And even if you have an excellent start like we did here, you can't then just think, oh, well, we'll just go and score 50 then. Or we'll just go and score 65 then. Because, first of all, it discredits the opposition and they fight until the end, which they did. But also, and this might be jumping ahead slightly, and apologies if it does, but we did try and cheat the game a bit towards the end.
Yeah.
We started throwing off flows and we started
Playing really early in the sets.
Yeah, and
Off slow
I
play
remember
balls.
one of the first games Matty Pete had in charge. It's only been a few months. When we went to Wakey and we beat him in the cup. We were all there actually. And we got a good lead, playing properly. And then we started throwing the ball around and we didn't score again.
Field scores the try off, May goes offload, and then we started going side to side, didn't we?
They didn't score again.
No.
Because our defence was excellent, but we didn't score again either. And Pete was a bit upset about that. He said, we're trying to cheat the game here. We spent the last 20 minutes trying to score a miracle offload try, when actually we got a great lead just by being ourselves and just by playing properly. And that's what frustrates me sometimes. I mean, I'm the exact opposite of some fans, because some fans will be thinking, throw the ball about, we need 60. In my opinion, don't throw the ball about, we need 60. You know what I mean? Stick to your game plan.
I know Matty Pete, I don't think he's a fan of it, because I remember similar. It wasn't Wakefield away, Matty, but it was. I can't remember who he played. But there was images on the screen of him at half time spraying him, basically. They interviewed, I think Morgan Smithy's got player of the match. And they said to him, it looked like Matty Pete was angry with you at half time, even though you were winning. Like, what was going on? Was he giving you a spray? And he turned around and said, yeah, he went, but we did deserve it. And he said he just let us know we were cheating the game, we was overplaying, we weren't sticking to it, and he let us know really. And then when they interviewed Matty Pete, because only the others do the play of the match, and then they do the coaches, don't they? And they asked him about it, and he said the exact same thing. He said, yeah, he said they were just cheating the game, going away from it, not really ending sets how we should be ending sets. And that's what all the good teams do, even in those games. They stick to the processes, don't they?
And he's big on respect as well. He's big on respect.
He is.
And he respects the opposition, he respects London a lot, he respects every team in Super League a lot, and he respects every team in the Challenge Cup. You don't get this in the NRL. In the NRL, they will just throw the miracle offload all the time if they get the lead.
But I think that's for the opposite reason, though, isn't it? The defence is... It feels in certain games it's a lot harder to score tries, so they're more prepared to play and attack when they get an opportunity. In a game like this, Wigan are going to be on the front foot for the majority of the time, and you can end up going a bit sideways to sideways, touchline to touchline, whatever you want to call it.
If we threw the ball about, as much as some fans shout for us to throw the ball about, we would never complete 3 sets out of 10.
No.
Ever in a game. There's a reason every team doesn't just spread it wide to the fast guy on play 1. Because you get thrown in touch, and then what do? Got to defend your own
and
line.
ultimately, you look at sides that do. So I don't want to dive in early to this, but Salford play that style, expansive and
Not
open.
every tackle though.
They wait for the right time.
They still set up to a post, and they still draw men in. If they get an offload, they still go in behind the ruck. They don't just throw it out wide casually.
But there's also a lot of reasons why Salford aren't right at the top. Because it will go wrong in games.
We've said before, actually, getting tackled to play before the try is sometimes as important as the play you put on, the move you put on.
Yeah.
Because you get your quick play of the ball, you get your men all in the right position, you get the defensive line struggling. That's more important than the dazzling play you put on the three-man cutout ball that you throw. It's more important.
And I think,
but that's what people don't seem to get. And if you could, I would just sit and watch Jay Field talk about this for an hour with a big screen. No John Wells, just him on a big screen. Just sit and talk about it for an hour and dissect loads of tries. But not everyone wants to do that, and that's fine. Not every spectator thinks about the game like that, and that's fine. Sometimes you just want to see, if you're a football fan, sometimes you just want to see your striker shoot from 30 yards. But sometimes you want to see...
And there is an art in that.
Of course.
There's an art in off-the-cuff plays.
There's an art in kicking across field to Ash Hanley on tackle 1 inside your own 10. It's brilliant if it comes off.
It's rich reward.
Big if.
It's a big if, yeah. I like the system we play, and I don't think we should go away from it.
Sam Tompkins summed it up best a couple of weeks ago. We mentioned it on this podcast after he said it. Best teams are predictable. You know what they're going to do.
You can't stop it.
Yeah.
But you know what they're going to do.
Yeah, you know how they're going to play. You can expect, you know what you're going to get from them.
When you talk about that, Matty, and where we get tackled and how we set up, I think that's evident to show in the next try, Marshall's. This takes it to 18 points to nil at the 20-minute mark, and everyone's going to talk about the Bevan French pass, which we're going to mention in a minute. But December gets tackled just short of the 20, 10 yards in on the right-hand side. Wigan hit 3 really good passes where they go Cruz Leeman to Hampshire to Havard to Farrimond, who then gives French early ball, and we suddenly took that from close to the touchline on the right hand side, just outside the left post.
I'd love to speak to somebody at the club about this. Is there a plan move for if Junior and Sember gets tackled just short of the 20, 10 metres in from the right touchline? Is there a plan move for that exact moment? And
who goes the first receiver? Who goes
yeah,
second?
And then my next point about that, if there is, which I imagine there is, and I don't know who's come up with it, but someone will have come up with that play. And my next question then would be, part B, if Farrimond's playing instead of Field, does the play just stay as it was and he switches in? If Sember's not the one tackled, but if it's Farrell, for example, tackled on, does it still work?
Yeah, does it still work the other way?
Yeah, or does it still work if it's Walters that's been subbed on, or does it still work if it's the centre that gets tackled in that spot? I'd quite like to know
Who makes that call to make that play?
Yeah, just how detailed it is. And I always assume stuff like that would be called live by Harry Smith. Based on what he said in his interviews and some of the inside stuff I've seen of him when he played for England, I always think if you hit a play there that's planned, like this one was clearly planned, Harry's probably called it, because Farrell's not calling it as a left second row.
No.
Harry's probably calling it as first receiver, or if he's going wide as second receiver. French isn't calling it because it's not that sort of play. So my question is, was this completely a planned move, and if someone gets tackled there and we want to play, this is what we do? And then in that case, as Farriman shouted for it. I'd love to know. Yeah. I'd really love to know that.
Brilliant. French hits. I Brilliant pass. Best part of 20 metres.
Oh, it's so saucy.
There's barely any height on it. It's not like he's had to really throw it. And it's big looping pass.
Oh, it's nasty. It is delicious.
It is a filthy ball.
It's so flat and hits Marshall in his stride. And they talk about it with the spin pass, whatever you want to call it. But this isn't. They talk about the spin pass being difficult to catch on the run. But the ball's just like floating through the air. It's so easy for Marshall. And I'm not taking anything away from him, who does really well to then finish. But French has made this almost impossible for him to get wrong. He's put it exactly how he would want it. And I think that's the brilliance of the pass.
This one would look good in that super duper slow-mo with the Inception music that the Hammers Try from Origin looked.
Yeah.
You know, when it went 3 passes, enormous passes wide, like Grant, Cherry Evans, Munster, and then Hammer went through and rounded the fullback. It was a super slow motion. I feel like this one would look perfect. Just absolutely lasered straight to Marshall's face. And he just has to put his hands up, catch it and go in. Brilliant pass.
It is. It's a good ball.
Yeah. Just after that, about 5 minutes later, Wigan concede a chance to London. A short side play from a play of the ball. Eckersley had switched off a little bit. He looked tired at this point. Switches off at marker. They go down the blind side. But he does incredibly well to hit the ball and the arm. Knocks the ball free. And keeps the scoreline 18 points to 0. If that try happens and they score there, 18 points to 6, that would have really, really picked up London. And just that 1% of, I've made a mistake and I'm going to get back and try and fix it, keeps the scoreline at 0. It's almost worth well, we know it's worth the same as a try, not conceding one. But I think it might be worth more. The morale that it'll put through London, how it'll have picked us up. It's brilliant, and full credit to him. Obviously, not great that he switched off, but he did his job and recovered.
Yeah, he did what you'd ask of him. I do think against the team of London, this might have been punished, but it's alright. It's alright, you know.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Still 0.
Yeah.
4 minutes before the end, we get a scrum. Really nice to see that without Smith and French in the halves and Field out back, I know French was playing at full back, but calling the shots, we still put players on from scrums.
Why not?
Hampshire and
It's a
Farrimond,
great threat, a scrum.
they slotted in perfect. Hampshire puts the ball in at the scrum, wraps around as we see Smith do so often, finds French, who has got pressure from the winger, a little bit of a right foot step, another brilliant pass to Miski, who scores in the corner, and that just takes it to 22 points. Farrimond kicks the goal to take it to 24, and at half time, without sounding rude or I don't know what the right word I'm looking for is here, but without sounding rude, it's almost game over at 24 points to 0.
24-0 at home at half time is game over.
And that would have really just killed London's spirit. Almost the perfect end to the half. Scoring takes it to London needing 5 tries. It's just not going to happen.
No, it's not going to happen, no.
But half time, what are you thinking at half time though?
Game's over.
Yeah, professional, isn't it? You know, you're going in at half time. There's a 0 on the opposition's side of the scoreboard. It's a professional job. Get out, finish the job in the second half. International break week after, and then we're back for the next game.
Yeah, just get through the next half, really. Would be all you'd be thinking.
Yeah. 10 minutes in to the second half. London are down to 12 men. after a hip drop on Cruz Lehman. I've not seen... Has he been banned?
Yeah, he's got a game.
Got a game. Thought it was accidental, obviously 1-on-1, but Lehman went off injured and I'm hoping he's alright.
I don't think they're really necessarily the kind of hip drops that we want to outlaw, because I don't think it was on purpose, but it was still quite dangerous, kind of a tackle. But yeah, I don't think he did it on purpose.
No, we've talked about this before. It's so hard when you're 1-on-1 and you're trying to wrestle with someone to bring them to the ground.
The 1-on-1s are accidental. You're trying to drag someone. It's when there's 3 men in and you're trying to bring him to the ground. You've got to drop your weight. You've got to be in full control in that situation.
That guy who got sin-binned, though, he looked like he needed a rest. Did you see what he did? He came off and he just went and sat down on the tackle bag, and then he went lying down on it. He was having a sleep.
4 minutes into the second half.
4 minutes into the second half, he looked absolutely goosed.
Yeah.
Needed a rest.
And Brad O'Neill, at the 10 minutes into the second half, straight to Farriman, nice and easy at first receiver. Probably looking at just dropping one off and taking another 5-10 metres. But it's a big left foot step through a gap, leaves 2 defenders clutching at him.
He probably went, shall I pass this to Wardle? And he thought, oh, it's Wardle, I'll just do a left foot step. That's what he would do. Let me get through this gap.
I actually think this is a planned thing.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that tells you it's a planned thing is how far wide he stood.
Yeah.
He stood that far wide, and obviously O'Neill's got a good delivery on him, so he knows he can do it. And what that does, obviously, with him being so far wide, the markers and the air defenders are going to work overtime to try and get across because he's that far wide.
Or they switch off and don't put
That means the weight is all going towards that side, so as he puts the left foot step back there the other way, when they're all moving that way, because he can get through, an inside shoulder. So I think it was a pre-planned fight. I think he thought to himself, I'm going wide, I'm going to test him on inside when I put my big step on.
But again, off that step...
Really intelligent player. Very intelligent.
But off that step, the pace. And even if he gets tackled, he's landed on his front, he's made 8-9 yards, and we're probably playing off the back of it because he's got us a quick play the ball.
Yeah.
There's almost no downside to this play. It's the perfect play in that situation. Wardle does what he does, backing up. And Farriman just draws the full back and gets Wardle underneath the sticks.
Yep.
Was brilliant. That was Wardle's first try. Wardle's second try from a scrum play. 4 minutes later, the defender who'd been off for his yellow card, he's sin-bin, comes back on with possibly the most aggressive sprint onto a field I've ever seen.
And it's funny because...
Round the back of the play.
It's like something out of a sitcom, isn't it? Like, the camera zooms in on him. Like it's a really courageous moment. Like he looks like a superhero charging onto the field. And literally while it's happening, his team are conceding points. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here he comes to sit. Oh, no, they scored.
But again, this play, Hampshire delivers the ball, wraps around. They'll be more disappointed with this because it's just a one-out pass. One to Hampshire, one to Wardle. And he goes through with a little bit of a touch on his hip, like a bit of a grab at his shirt.
It's too easy, isn't it? Really?
Too easy.
It is
too easy.
Yeah.
Now,
We've broken them, though.
The game was over at that point.
We've broken them, so...
5 minutes later, it is worth mentioning, Marshall makes a break down the middle, dances inside and out of the full-back. Lee Kershaw working hard to get back.
He sits someone down before, man.
Yeah, he sat down the
full-back.
full-back.
The full-back.
Yeah.
He did well.
Does really well. And then Farriman just... It's strange because it looks like he's already caught it. If you knock on, you knock on, but it looks like he actually catches it. And then when he's trying to pull it into his normal position, it just fumbles loose.
I saw his name in lights,
They
didn't
were trying to get in the hat trick when the ball to Wardle was the one. But, it's...
Listen, you're not going to criticise him. He'll be thinking now he's got another chance to go and get his first hat trick for the club, and
I mean, he still scored
room
2
to
on
improve.
home debut.
Plenty of room to improve, and you know what? They'll talk about it and review that.
Yeah.
As there's always room for improvement. Wraps the game up 36 points to nil. Takes us back top of the table before the rest of the games are played. Obviously, Hull KR had played the day before. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But 2 points clear.
Yeah.
That's a good Friday night at the office.
Yeah, fantastic.
Good day at the office.
And on a day when everyone's attention was rightfully focused on Henley, we just had to do the job.
Yeah. Do the job. Get your 2 points. Go home.
That's it.
Right, that wraps up that. We'll be back shortly.
Right then, let's have your eye catchers for this week. Tom, you can go first.
Well, I'm going to start with an ex-Wiganer, Amir Burrow, on loan at Barrow. Put in probably the hit of the round. Massive, from a dropout. Big prop forward, driving it in. Amir Burrow gets right under the ball. One-on-one tackle, puts him on his back, absolutely nails him. It's a phenomenal hit. If you've not seen it, go and have a look at it.
What was it that you were showing us on then? Was that Barrow?
That was Barrow, yeah. Barrow's TikTok, they put it on.
Barrow Raiders TikTok.
Yeah.
Alright, okay.
Go and follow it, go and have a watch of that, because it's definitely worth watching once or twice.
It was a good shot, wasn't it?
A couple of other Wiganers in this game, though. Harvey Makin and
Jacob Douglas.
Yeah.
I don't know which side Douglas played on, but he might have been lined up against T. Ritson again. T. Ritson's on loan at Swinton. He's moving in Borough. He's just signed for Hull today.
Yeah.
You see that?
Yeah.
Signed for Hull.
I think he's a good signing.
Hull said, like in their piece, he makes over 30 tackles every game. Fair enough. You need someone to do that.
I'm surprised Salford are letting him go.
Yeah,
I
maybe
know they've got Atkin.
Yeah, maybe they're going to sign someone. Maybe they've got someone lined up for next year, or maybe they've got someone good coming through. You know.
Yeah, I just think with Atkin, who I think is an out-and-out 9.
Well, he's a bit like a utility player off the bench, isn't he?
And I forgot his name. I want to say Croft, but it's not Croft.
Cade Cust.
Cade Cust, who was playing off the bench as a 9.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll be the 2 9s for Salford?
I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen with Cade Cust, but I'm interested to see it.
Right, Matty. Your eye catcher, go on.
Mine's the England squad. Again, something else that was announced today, the England squad. For the game against France, he's named 20 players. Sean Wayne.
Yeah.
The Wigan involvement is Harry Smith, Luke Thompson, Brad O'Neill, and Tyler Dupree. 4 Wigan lads. Surprise omissions? Maybe I think Junior and Semba could count himself unlucky.
Off form?
Off the form, yeah, probably. I think there's a few players who are what you would call incumbents, like somebody like Toby King, who's not been selected. He's chosen somebody like Sam Wood from Cass instead.
I think that might be a case of getting
Giving somebody a cap. Some of these players deserve caps. I think, Elliot Minchella deserves a cap. Brad O'Neill deserves a cap.
It's interesting because Jake Wardle's not on his side, and
no,
you know what you're going to get from him. You know what you're probably going to get from Toby King. You might want to get a look at a Sam Wood.
Well, he's going to have to, because Harry Newman will play one centre, but then Sam Wood's the only other centre. I think the way he's named it is
the 17.
Is the 17, so I'll run it through it quickly. He's Wellesby's at full back. The 3-quarter line is Johnston, Wood, Newman and Hanley. Williams and Smith in the halves, they're staying together. The front row of Luke Thompson, Brad O'Neill, Matty Lees. And then the back row of Ben Curry, Matty Nicholson and Elliot Minchella. And now he's named the next 4. I don't know if this will be his bench or not, but he's named Mikey Lewis, James Harrison, Tyler Dupree and Oliver Wilson. And then in the next section he's got Delaney from Saints, Lytton and James McDonnell. Now if that is how it's working, I think that's still quite a strong squad.
Yeah.
It should be enough to beat France. Without France, haven't got any Toulouse players in there. They've called up Tiaki Chan.
Yeah.
He should be good. He's going to go against some of his teammates. Yeah. But I think it's a strong squad.
Yeah, I think he's done a couple of things. I think he's possibly given some people a chance, but he has also gone with a couple of maybe thinking about the future. So, for example, the 1, 6 and 7 is probably the one that's going to play at the majors. Maybe if you threw a Mikey Lewis in there, possibly depending on his form. But really, Wellesby, Smith, Williams is probably the 1, 6 and 7 he's going to play at the next major tournament, isn't he?
Yeah, I don't think Lewis gets in ahead of him.
I don't personally. I would go Smith over Lewis, and Williams is captain, so he's not going to get it over him. No injuries, assuming.
You definitely have a round squad.
That's his 1, 6 and 7.
I'm happy Mikey Lewis. If there is an injury, I'm happy with Mikey Lewis coming in.
Yeah, 100%.
Would you be okay with Mikey Lewis coming in at full back?
No.
I don't think so.
We've spoken about this before. Who is England's second best fullback? I don't know the answer. Would you rather have Evalds? Niall Evalds? Okay, Niall Evalds.
Probably, yeah.
I don't know the answer. I don't know who I would call up as England's second.
I would rather have an out-and-out full-back than shove Mikey Lewis in there to do a job at that. But I'd rather have a Neville.
I don't like...
What would you say to those who
square pegs in round holes at international?
What would you say to those people who would put Herbie Farnworth back there? He's not playing there for the Dolphins. So you'd say, no, if you go to school.
No.
Dear, oh dear.
No, for me. I'm not at international level.
No, I agree.
But shoving half back or anybody as centre at full back and
I agree with you.
Is not an international level.
I'll say before this season, I would have said I'm not against it. The fact that they've not... Hammer got injured and they didn't move Herbie there.
Herbie's a centre and an amazing one.
Yeah.
Don't move him.
But
I know we've got better players at centre, we've got more cover at centre, and you can bring Harry Newman in, but Herbie's a centre, keep him there.
And you know what, if you pick up a couple of injuries on a tour, if it was a big tour somewhere, and you had to play him as your third choice fullback, I wouldn't be disappointed with that. But in an international 3 games, you shouldn't need more than 2 fullbacks.
I don't know who's going to be the fullback then. I don't know who's the second fullback.
Evalds, it has to be.
Maybe Evalds.
Breel.
Evalds. Well, Braley played for Scotland.
He's not.
Maybe if you've had Great Britain, you could have Braley as second choice, but probably we're thinking Niall Evalds then.
Yeah, would have to be.
Fair enough.
Right, Lewis, your eye catcher.
Yeah, so sticking with the England theme, it's been off the pitch this week, my eye catcher. It's been England's social media. They're sharing some clips which I found really interesting to watch. A bit of a behind the scenes when the England squad are in the shed from a couple of the previous games, and you see some bit of Wayne going up to the players talking one-on-one. There's a very good one with Harry Smith where he says, look, whatever you're feeling here, and points to his heart and goes, you're playing they go back to that kid when you whatever age he says, 11, 12 years old, and you went, whatever you want, it will work better now because you've got better players around you. You see him offering little bits of guidance and directions to the players, and I love that scene inside. I often wonder that, like you see cameras on Skype, it's not the same. What is the coach saying? What does it look like, at half time in England changing? And the fact that you get to see it now on the social medias, I think is brilliant, especially from an ex-playing point of view.
I like how calm it is.
Yeah,
and how, what the environment's like, because you just couldn't go and play a test match. These are before the game against Tonga, I believe, or one of the games against Tonga. And you're just about to go and play a test match for your country. For some of them lads, it would have been the first, second, third cap, whatever. The emotion would have been through the roof.
Yeah.
We saw how Mikey Lewis was when he won man of the match in that first game. His emotions were through the roof. I think it's great to see how calm Sean Wayne is in these moments. And there's a really interesting one with Tom Johnston where he's not talking about flying finishes, he's not talking about attacking structure, he's actually talking about getting off your own line with a yardage set, an exit set, and I think these things are really important.
Yeah.
And we don't tend to see that. A lot of people like those England football videos, where they're training, but they're just doing drills. They're just going through drills. There's nothing like technical about it. There's nothing. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Gareth Southgate going up to one of his big name players, his big star players, and talking like this? Maybe he does, but we don't see it.
Yeah.
And I really like that we're seeing it in this week. And I hope we see more of it, because that documentary they made inside England, whatever it was called, before the Tonga series, it was amazing. And Sean Wayne, we all love him as a coach and think he's fantastic. And this was a good insight. The players really
anything that shows you what happens day to day. I remember we did the one when we went to Down Under, played the Roosters, and Saints have just done one.
Yeah,
it's always brilliant insight, because it's not what you see.
But those, those documentary style, like All or Nothing, they're a bit for the cameras, and they never really give anything away tactically. I really just like this moment between coach and player just before a match, just before a test match. It was raw, and it was really, really good. I really liked it.
Yeah.
I've got to say, I just love the passion in his voice. He's not shouting or angry or trying to get him pumped up. You can just tell he cares.
Oh yeah,
and that it means something to every single one of them. In what effectively is 2 friendlies against.
They're not friendlies.
I know they're not.
They're test matches, aren't they?
But for a long time, it's felt like we're just playing a couple of internationals.
It's a test series.
And you can then just feel the passion in it.
This one's a test match against France. It's not friendly. Liam Marshall hasn't got a cap for England because he only played that friendly. Which I think he should have a cap. But that's a different argument. These are caps. These are test matches.
Right. Take a quick break. We'll come back around the grounds in just a moment. So, let's have a look around the grounds. We're going to start on Thursday. Nice to have a Thursday game back this, I thought. Give me something to watch on Thursday night.
Yeah, definitely. I like the Thursday night games. Like you said, it gives you something to look forward to.
It was good this, and then 2 on Saturday and 1 on the Sunday. Yeah. Was 1 on the Sunday.
It was always the 2 on Friday.
Exactly. That was so close to having a perfect week of them not all being staggered. Just if that one of those Friday games, either us or Leeds, was Sunday lunchtime.
You know what? I was thinking about it. If they're the only 2 that are matched up and on at the same time, if it only happens for 2 games, I think I can live with that.
I think it's not necessarily that there's only 2 matched up. It's that there was still availability to watch 5. You could go to 1. You only missed another one. You could watch Thursday. You could watch Saturday, both of them. You could watch Sunday. So it felt like there's always...
The double header on Saturday always feels good as well.
I hate it when the round's done by Friday night. You got the whole weekend and the round's done and dusted. You got all this time and you think, there's not even anything going on. But yeah, go on. Thursday night.
Hull KR get a 1-point win. 75th minute drop goal. Against Castleford. 13 points to 12. I think Castleford will be kicking themselves. Couple of poor defensive reads led to Hull KR's tries. If you're Hull KR, well, business done. Got 2 points and
count yourself very lucky, like we did last week. Escape that it was only Castleford that you were playing.
You must be disappointed. Happy considering where you were at the start of the season if you're a Castleford fan, but that must also be gutting to lose to Wigan and Hull KR at home by a combined total of 3 points.
I think they're going to be gutted if they don't, without no disrespect to anybody else, but it's the fact that they're running these teams close, and then when they get to a more winnable looking game for them, they can end up getting blown away with a really bad performance. And it's like all those good performances you put in, running those teams close, you lose all your momentum from it because you just get blown away by a team where you could think, actually, we could have actually got 2 points there.
You'd almost take being beat more convincingly.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%.
To get a 2 points somewhere else.
Yes, 100%.
But, you know what, if you're Craig Lingard, you'll be talking your lads up this week. And
yeah.
He needs to lose the bucket hat, though.
Oh, that's...
God.
Is that or Sam Burgess vaping the worst thing
that's
that's
happened
taken
seriously as a head coach if you're wearing a bucket hat? I'm sorry. Last one to do it didn't end well for him, did it?
It was last one to do it.
Darryl Powell.
Oh, yeah, in Catalan.
Wearing that bucket
After 8 games.
Oh, Jesus.
Next thing, Lingard will be doing karaoke in that pub.
No, Powell's coach Cass for a period of time as well.
He
It's
did,
bloody people from Castleford, that's not what bucket out. So. And Sam Burgess was vaping.
Well,
Sorry, I've caught you mid-yarn.
He said it was a penalty.
What, that was smoke?
Yeah, apparently that was giving off some smoke. But I don't know if he was actually vaping.
Very suspect, that, isn't it? Very suspect.
Well, between that and the old Richie Myler shoulder barge thing, he's
That's an eventful start.
he has had an eventful start to his life as a Super League boss. That's Sam Burgess' story, is eventful, isn't it?
Yeah. Would you be worried with that? Just getting a 1 point win if they
If I was
they
Hull
had the
KR.
week, if you were Hull KR, they had the week off, played last week. They get another week off. This to me felt like it could have been a big performance from Hull KR, a big statement before the international break.
I don't necessarily think they need one. They're only 2 points off the top anyway, aren't they? So I don't.
I've said it before, and I think sometimes the week off does you more harm than good.
Yeah.
I think it can really knock you out your rhythm when you you don't play that weekend. You just train.
They had played the week before.
Who did they play against the week before this one? I can't remember. Can you?
No, just give me one sec.
I mean, we spoke about it.
They beat Huddersfield at home, 32-6.
Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah, we spoke about
So they
the
had
two
good wins,
squads,
didn't
didn't we? Yeah, good win. Maybe they had one eye on the England squad. Quite a lot of them got called up for England.
Yeah, maybe. Getting a rest already, but
I don't know. Cass maybe just came up and fought. You don't want to discredit Castlewood's effort too much because they clearly had a decent go here, but just lost out to a drop goal. Decent drop goal.
good drop goal.
Yeah.
Any drop goal's a good one.
Yeah, any drop goal's a good one.
Yeah.
I couldn't get one under pressure like that.
Right, shall we move over to Headingley? This was on Friday night, same time as the Wigan London game. It was a big game for obvious reasons, with it being the memorial game for Rob Burrows. But we'll talk about the game first and then
So
talk about that.
many of Burrow's former teammates were there. So many. They were all over the pitch before the game. It was good to see Robbie Mulhern in his league kit was one of them. I know Callum Watkins was there. They showed him on the screen. It was good to see all his mates back. Danny Medeiros had flown over. Kyle Lulawai, I want to say.
He was there, yeah.
Showing up for the mate, weren't they?
Yeah, always there. And that's what rugby league is, isn't it?
Well, especially that Leeds team. They were together for a long time, weren't they? A lot of them. They didn't break up. Kind of what we're hoping for with our current squad. They had at least 5 or 6 years together, most of them. Some of them even longer.
Worth mentioning again before this game, Rowan Smith had got the sacked.
Yeah, last time we recorded, we were kind of saying we're not sure what's going to happen with Rowan Smith, and then he kind of got sacked the next day. I thought Headingley on this game, I did say last week, Headingley is going to be the factor because of the Rob Burrow thing. And that's why I could see Leeds winning this game. And that's how it ended up playing out. It was an inspirational performance from Brodie Croft.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely
He
brilliant.
was fantastic, pulling all the strings, inspirational for a halfback to grab the game like that.
Yeah,
I think it was written in the stars.
Definitely. Leeds got to 18 points to nil after 50 minutes. A really strong performance. Last 30 minutes, they conceded 10 points. Could have caused an upset, but they did really well to end that game. What's the word I'm looking for? And keep the lead. Obviously, they got back to 18-10
Win the
with
game.
10 minutes to go. To hang on
see
and
that.
almost kill the game.
Yeah.
See it out, that's the word I was looking for.
Kill the game, because everyone knew that the emotional tributes were going to come after the game. So they just had to just hold on to the win there and get through. And they get the 2 points, and that's clearly they did it for Rob. And some emotional scenes after the game. Some really emotional scenes, and some scenes we don't see often in rugby league, and we maybe should. People are not afraid to be emotional. We've spoken about it before on this podcast. Was it Danny Maguire saying, or I think it was Danny Maguire saying, like, we don't talk enough about the emotion that we feel for our teammates. It might have actually been in the Challenge Cup final, Jamie Peacock talking about the love that they shared in the dressing room, and we don't talk about love enough. And young Jackson Burrows he had a Lee Leopard's ball in his signed ball.
Yeah, he did.
They gave him a signed ball. He looks like he's dead, doesn't
Yeah, he does.
he? That young lad. And, his daughters were there. His wife
It's a massive occasion.
It was a big occasion, yeah. And the fans will have wanted to pay the respects and show out for the team, but they'll have also wanted a performance. Don't get me wrong. If Leeds Rhinos had played really poorly on that day, I think it would have upset a lot of people. So it was good for them to put in a good effort and get a win.
I am almost glad they got the win.
I'm
Yeah,
glad they
100%.
got the win. I like Lee. We all quite like Lee as a club and as a team and want them to do quite well, but I was glad Leeds won this game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it was what the fans deserved and what the ex-teammates deserved.
And what an effort from the club to put all that in place, what they did the before the game, the after the game, the tributes to Lindsay, the video package with the live singer singing My Way. It was all put together so professionally well, and credit to Leeds as a club and Headingley as a stadium, because that was absolutely fantastic, the send-off they gave it.
And there's if you're interested in supporting, there's a Rob Burrow t-shirt on the website. We partnered with the Rugby Stuff Online, that the profits are all going to the Rob Burrow Centre in Leeds, the MND Centre. And I think they've been inundated with donations in the last few weeks from Rugby League supporters, which is good to see, and the wider sporting community as well.
We can put a link for the website in like a
Yes, it's
description or something.
It's in the description.
On Spotify and YouTube. And
wherever
stuff.
you're listening to this, the website link is in there for the apparel store, and the Rob Burrow shirt is on there with all the proceeds going towards that Rob Burrow Centre.
Yeah.
Right. Shall we move over to Saturday? First game on Saturday was Hull FC versus Warrington. Ebbed and flowed this game. 12-0 to Warrington at half-time. Early in the second half, Hull FC get back in it, make it 12-6. Warrington score shortly after through Danny Walker, make it 18 points to 6. Nothing really happens for 10 minutes. And between the 60th and the 70th minute, Liam Sutcliffe scores, Anton Briscoe scores, Ben Reynolds kicks both goals, and going into the last 10 minutes, it's 18 points apiece. And Hull FC have been looking. I don't know which side would have been more nervous here. Hull FC thinking they could get a win at home and take a lot of pressure off.
Yeah.
Or Warrington.
Warrington would have been more nervous. Warrington, because they've lost the last 3. Like we said, we've gone either side of the cup final, which we won with 8 points. They've gone either side of the cup final, they've lost. They only had 2 points for that. Lost the week after the final. So Warrington really needed a win. They needed to arrest the slide sharpish, and with another week off next week, this was their best chance. This was their only chance. They had to get a win. And, well, I don't know, it wasn't particularly convincing, but a win's a win.
A win.
Yeah.
You're off that now. You
should mention how that came about. A charge down drop goal. Falls at Dufty.
Yeah,
And it is very good play from
it
him.
is actually.
Yeah.
It is actually.
We have criticised Dufty in the last couple of weeks.
More
This
for his
is-
defence, though.
But this is what Dufty does bring you. Brilliance with the ball in hand. Does really well, and you know what? It's a killer for Hull FC, and you know what? They'll be really gutted leaving that game.
Matty, what do we call that when you look and you see what's in? You don't necessarily have a structure you're playing to. You just go off the cuff, but it
So the
finds a way
play's
to
the
work.
play's broken. The
Yeah.
play's broken, and you just pick the ball up. What's it called?
Looking up.
Looking
no,
up?
No,
Looking-
that's not it. What?
No.
It's got a ring to it. What?
On the road? No,
No, that's not. Off the cuff? No, it's not off
No.
the cuff stuff. It's
Do you know, Tom?
Yeah, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
you're putting a pound in jet.
No, I hope that phrase dies with me.
Matt Duffy played eyes up.
He did play eyes up.
He played eyes up. Sean Wayne mentioned it in that video. Lewis picked his Eyecatcher. Sean Wayne said eyes up. You're going to make him donate a pound?
When do you not play eyes up?
You know what it means.
When have you never... Oh, no.
You know what it means.
Because every time... Oh, no, I'm not even starting this argument. Nah.
But yeah, no, just to kind of end this one, actually, I do think Warrington was so much of an important win for them.
Yeah, it was.
Because Warrington because the last couple of seasons they've had, which I know is their own fault, But I do feel sorry for him in a way, because a couple of consecutive losses and it goes so quickly for them. And it's so important they cannot build up some back-to-back losses. Other clubs might go going through a bad patch, but we'll come out the other side. It's not like that we want to after the season's there.
I know we talked about criticising Dufty, and you almost expect that from an opposition fan to criticise a player who's playing poorly. There's a lot of internal criticism for him, a lot of Warrington fans that...
They have high expectations. They have high expectations. And, they were the ones saying he's the best fullback in the comp 4 weeks ago. If he was the best fullback in the comp 4 weeks ago, he's the best fullback in the comp now. Neither of those are true, by the way. But, we say that, don't we? If he's the best fullback in the competition, he still is.
It's not got any worse in 4 weeks.
No, he's not got worse, has he? He still defends the same way. He still attacks the same way. He's still got the same strengths and the same weaknesses that he's always had.
Yeah.
And like we always say with Field, teams are maybe keying in on him. Maybe he's creating space for others and he's not grabbing the headlines. But he's still that player. Without him, you'd be a much worse team.
Yeah, 100%.
That's how I see Dufty as an opposition rival fan. I see Dufty. If Dufty's name is off the team sheet, if he's not available,
well, who would play full-back if he didn't play?
It weakens Warrington more than some other players, and I know his defence is what it is. We've had conversations about his defending before, and that's valid. But Warrington need Matt Dufty because he's one of the better players, and
I think he makes George Williams a better player.
I wouldn't be criticising if I was a Warrington supporter too much. His defence isn't fantastic, but I wouldn't be having a go at him like some of them are. Really aggressive. Same reason we spoke about the criticism of Ryan Hampshire. Don't agree with it. Don't agree with it at all. Yeah, you can say he had a bad game. We said last week against Castleford he didn't have a great game. But he's better in this game, wasn't he? The situation didn't suit him. We said that last week. I don't like the pylon. I hate the pylons on social media. Not the things that create the electricity. The pile on.
Yeah.
Yeah. One person.
It's very easy to quickly.
Oh, if one person criticises, it's very easy for 100 people to just criticise.
Jump on the bandwagon.
Yeah, very easy, and I don't like that.
Right. Should we move over to Catalans?
Yeah.
I want to call this the Lewis Derby. Trusting Huddersfield, but Catalans at home.
Catalans at home. And the two Mets.
Who did you go for?
I think I went for Huddersfield. Yeah, I went for Huddersfield because I wanted to
And they let you
mix
down
it up
again.
a bit different.
Well, we all picked something a bit different because we wanted to catch up to.
Yeah, one of you, I think, was it you, Tommy, backed Salford
I
against
backed
Saints
Salford.
correctly, which we'll get on to in a minute. I think you backed
Leeds.
Leeds against Lee would have been the
Just trying to
favourites
pick
on
something
form.
different to the list.
And I said, you know what, whilst it's the Lewis Derby, as you've called it, Tom, I'll go for Huddersfield. I think Cattle will be the favourite, so I'll go for the underdog. They let me down.
Now this was a game of two halves. 22 points to 18.
No, who's doing the cliches?
That's a cliche that makes sense.
22-18.
22-0 to Catalans at half time. 22 points to 18, 18 unanswered points. And they actually got all 18 of them in just about 15 minutes in the middle of the second half. Both coaches not going to be really happy with that performance.
Well, Ian Watson apparently was asked at half time what to change in that second half. His response was everything. Because so that tells you on after Eagles, you went literally everything. We're ripping it up and we're just starting again when we come out for the second half.
That reminds me of that time when David Moyes was Man United manager, and they interviewed him after a game when they lost, which was one of many, and he said, "Well, we've got to improve in a number of areas, including shooting, defending, passing." Dribbling. I'm sure he said things like the entire thing. It's like that thing your dad says, Tom, where he says, like, if we're going to have had a good one, he'll say, we only did one thing better than them. Everything.
Yeah. It's like in golf when they miss a putt and they say, except from line and length, that putt had everything in line.
Yeah, we just got to change absolutely everything about our performance and then we might have a chance of winning. And you know what? They come close.
They did. They come back in second half.
Interesting one this week. Now we're on coaches. I just want to pivot to Steve Mack, former England boss, of course. In League Express this week, he's saying he wants France to win on Saturday What do we make of that?
You know what? I get that comment. He's done a lot of work with French rugby, a lot of work with developing young French players. How proud would he feel? Without looking at the French squad right in front of me and diving into everything, but I would suspect that he had a lot to play in probably 50% of them players.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who's in it, but he'll have had involvement in Tiaki Chan, for example.
All the Catalan boys.
All the Catalan players.
The amount of time he's been at Catalan.
There's not many international teams where you're looking going, actually, that club coach, probably 70% the same.
Whoever the coach of PNG Hunters.
You know what I mean?
You know,
but even then,
sort
they've got a lot of overseas players.
They have now, yeah.
They have now. So it's interesting, really, when you look at them.
He's invested in it, isn't he?
Yeah.
I'm not sure he meant exactly that he'll be sitting there cheering for France to win. I'm sure he won't mind who really wins. But you know what I mean.
He would love to see a 22-18
He would love to see a close
really
game. Yeah,
competitive.
he would love to see a France win. Or...
It's not as bad as Paul Wellensgo coaching Tonga.
No, it's not as bad as that. No, you're right. No,
Just because he wanted
Help
being
his
out
mate.
with his mate.
the Wolfster.
The Ulster.
Should we move on to Saints?
Yeah, please.
Salford winning 20 points to 18.
Good game, this.
Yeah, great game.
Good game.
What a brilliant Sunday afternoon
Yeah, it was.
entertainment this was.
I think I want to run through the scoring of it just to
Some people watch the Grand Prix instead of this. Hopefully
watch some cars drive dead fast.
Hopefully none of our listeners watch the cars driving fast. Some people chose to watch the Grand Prix instead of this incredible game.
Don't see him for 2 minutes. So
You should watch it on telly.
I hate it. I hate it.
Yeah, we know.
Right, let's just mention the order of the tries here. James Bell scored, made Saints winning 6 points to 0. Dion Cross scores, makes it 6 points to 6 apiece. Dion Cross scores again, makes it 10 points to 6, and that's half time. Saints come out, score, go in front 12 points to 10. Callum Watkins scores. Percival then kicks at a goal, makes it 14 apiece. Percival scores with 10 minutes left. Misses a very simple kick, but it's 18 points to 14. Chris Hankinson scores, last 3 minutes. This is...
Are you trying to say it was a topsy-turvy game?
Yeah,
It was back and forth, wasn't it?
it was. I think both teams were clinical when they had chances. I don't think there was a lot of wasted
It
chances.
was a good old-fashioned arm wrestle that swung back and forth with momentum. It had its controversial moments.
Salford did the double now over Saints.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a bogey team for them?
And we might talk about St Helens quite a bit at length here, but I want to give Salford some credit. They are extremely hard-working.
They were physical in this game as well.
Yes.
They've been criticised for not having a pack, but when you watch the middles, they got stuck into some tackles. Delaney he wore a couple in particular, but they were really physical in the middle. Really rising to the challenge of the physicality of St Helens.
The headline always with Salford is that they throw the ball around and they score nice, eye-catching tries, but they were so hard-working.
Yeah.
So hard-working in this game. Don't forget, 169 out, not playing, and Tim Laffey turns his ankle 5 minutes before the game.
Yeah, in the warm-up.
And they all go on about St Helens injuries. He's had all week prepare for them injuries. He knows who's going to be available. Tim Laffey goes down just before the start of the game. He can't play. So they bring that young fullback onto the bench who never even got on.
Yeah.
They used 15 players in this game.
Yeah.
They said they were going to put that new lad Lewis into the centres, but actually it was Sam Stone that went there. I thought it was going to be Watkins, but no, Stone went out into left centre, and still to get the win after all that disruption. Salford are a tough team to beat at home,
It's becoming a real fortress.
They've only lost twice at home this year.
Yeah. Once.
No, twice.
Twice to us.
They've lost
Oh,
twice.
yeah, we played
They've
away
lost twice at
haven't
home, both to us.
There was
the one where it was pouring down. Everyone forgets that.
Yeah, that's the one pouring down. I
Because it was-
remember the drop goal. The drop out.
Because it was between like the semi-final and the final. It kind of gets forgotten that game.
Yeah. But yeah, it was at Salford, wasn't it? We
Yeah,
played them at home, yeah.
Just a couple of tries I want to mention. It's a brilliant play for Salford's first try. From a tap restart after a penalty.
Have they done this before? Or was it Lee? There's another team used this play this year. And I'm sure I remember it being dead. I think it was Lee. In a game they might have lost early in the season, did a dead clever play off a penalty tap.
I really like it, mate.
Yeah.
I really like it.
It's clever, isn't it?
When you do that, I know. So, when amateur teams, you find that, when you're playing little short side plays, little moves you can put on, little things you're going to try in the game. I think professional teams sometimes like seeing them do that, you know what I mean? Just a bit too processy, right, we're going to attack, we're going to do 3 drives and then do this. I was thinking, you know what, go on, let's try a little short side
There
play
is a
and catch 'em,
temptation. There is a temptation for the sides to try and get everybody involved and try and do a huge, big block play that sweeps across the whole field. When actually, there could be something to be said for just, right, you 3 come up with something.
Yeah.
You 3 come up with a play.
Do you remember we did that back end of last season when French moved to 6? And we started having little plays where Miski would drop inside and King slid out wide.
Yeah.
And I remember we scored a try at Catalan. Was it Catalan at Hort?
Catalan
away.
and Leeds.
Miski scored one against Leeds, but they hit. I remember Catalan. King drifted out wide, and Miski dropped under French, and it felt like there was a bit of that right side's just coming up with stuff.
Yeah.
We're just gonna be creative at our best.
You know what this reminds me of? And I'm just loading it up now, so I'm going to talk about it and then you can watch it. There's a programme called Vossi's Awesome 80s. We know we love Vossi.
Yeah.
Vossi's Awesome 80s. And on one of the episodes of Vossi's Awesome 80s, he talked about a game where it was Australia versus rest of the world. Let's see if I can go around and find it. And Andy Gregory was playing for the rest of the world. And they scored a try off a tap, and it was absolutely unbelievable. They said they've only had one training session together, but they've been working on a play on some set piece plays. The commentator said, and they set this set piece play up, and every single player must have been a dummy runner at one point in this play. Absolutely everybody was flying through.
I do wonder with that, if you said to a group of players, you've got a day to prep, you random 13 players, pick one from each club, and you said you're going to play a game tomorrow, go and figure something out, you would just break off into little groups that work right side, well left side, we'll come up with a plan, we'll do this. You wouldn't practice an entire block play that requires 13 of you to run through.
No.
You practice scrum play, short side play, someone's going to get you some points, and the rest of
something
it
from
we'll just do
control.
very basic and a kick.
But I would recommend this for anybody to watch. Vossi's Awesome 80s. This is a try they scored. This is the first try they scored. Rest of the world. It's episode 1.
Nice.
And then
Just skipping across the line, but players in motion,
that wasn't
dropping
even
inside.
what I was thinking of, but just players in motion. And this is what it reminded me of. This try that Dion Cross scored with just bodies in motion, short side, just unexpected plays.
Because everyone thinks from that Miller's took the tap. He's passed one towards the centre of the field. You might take a tackle or pass again and try and find a post. And it almost feels like St. Helens have set up for him to just set up somewhere. But it's brilliant.
Have a look at this try. This is I think the second try rest of the world score. So it's off a tap. Look how many bodies are in motion here.
Love that.
And it's an offload, and it's actually Mike Gregory that scores.
Absolutely
That's
love
Mike
that.
Gregory there, number 12, who scores. And if you look on the replay,
There's 5 or 6 dummy runners.
there's 5 or 6 dummy runners, yeah.
Definitely, we'll get that shirt on Twitter.
Yeah, look at this. Look at the movement here. One, that's Gregory there. And then just bang. There's no defending that.
No.
You can be the best defenders in the world. You can't do that. It's too many bodies in motion.
I know we talked about Bevan French a lot on this podcast, but asking so many questions, the big dummies and the things like that, just asking a question of a defender creates a mistake, and that's what they've done here. They've made Hurrell and Benison, who is that right side defence, make a decision.
Yeah.
Talk about the second try that Dion Cross scores. We highlighted it from a really good kick from Dion Cross, and Benison's coming for a lot of stick about his positioning here.
Well, we had a look at this before we started recording, didn't we? And put it up on the TV. And we paused it the moment Sneed is about to kick it. And there's 3 or 4 options they can go for.
There's 3 short passes.
Yeah. Now, Benison reads the grubber kick in behind, which I think is the most obvious play. And Sneed perhaps thinks about that and chips over the top into the space where he currently is. It's absolutely genius. We spotted it. We spotted that Benison's hips are turned in and he's facing going in. But we've got the camera angle on top of the stand and we've had it paused.
For about a minute.
Mark Sneed is looking at a line with no depth perception really, flat, in...
I'm picking a man who's behind.
Less than half a second and making that decision on the fly. It's an absolutely genius try, and you can't understate how clever.
If I could ask Mark Sneed one question, I would love to ask him, has he seen video of Benison biting in like that and covering the grubber kick a lot? Or was it that he just saw it in that moment?
That might just be a thing every winger does. That might be what he tells his wingers to do, because the grubber kick was the obvious option.
I'd love to just ask him what made him make that call.
For him not to choose the obvious option and to choose almost the bluff, brilliant.
Something I've got to mention. It's picked up a lot of conversation on social media. Mark Sneed's deliberate missed penalty.
Yeah.
There's 2 things to this. Obviously, Sinfield did it in a game. I think it was 2014, 2015.
I can't remember.
Long time ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And pretty much immediately after that, they changed the rules to say that you couldn't do it because it was a deliberate miss.
Yeah, if you're going to go for a shot at goal and make the touch judges go behind the goal, then that's it. You're having a shot at goal. You have to make an attempt on the goal.
And I always remember reading a story about someone pointing and saying, we're not having a kick at goal, but pointing at it. You can do things like that.
Yeah. I don't think anyone would fall for that now.
But you say you're having a go. I don't think Sneed helps himself in the fact that his routine's completely different. Anyone who's watched Mark Sneed kick knows it takes him about 5 hours to
I
take
also
a
think
kick.
taking the 2 was the right option. It was 6 apiece.
Yeah.
I like taking the 2 at this point. It's stupid for him Saints not to cover it. Like, if this was a deep kick, you'd cover it all along the line, wouldn't you? But what happens if Sneed hits the post? What happens if he tries to score?
I do think there was an element of they were starting to break up from the huddle.
I don't think they were. Blake spots it and starts running, but that wouldn't have stopped it.
But you also know with Sneed that you've got about a minute. From him putting the ball down, he takes his time.
I don't think they were going to break. I think they were just assuming Sneed was going to nail it. What if he tried to score and hit the post? It wasn't a guaranteed 2 points. I mean, for Sneed it was really, but...
I don't know. I really don't know.
Sneed's probably good enough to deliberately hit the post. He's ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cheeky one, isn't it?
Oh, very cheeky.
Definitely the right decision.
Rugby
Yeah,
League Live
100%.
game one, this, isn't it? You try it on the Rugby League
And
Live.
I do agree with the rule. If you say you're going to kick for goal, you've got to kick for goal.
I agree.
You can't make a touch judges move. Stop the clock, go for a kick at goal and try and score.
And I thought big momentum shift, because instead of being a 2 points for Salford
Leading, getting the ball back.
and then getting the ball back, Saints had a penalty.
Yeah.
They didn't use it. Well, you know, Saints
They
had a
didn't
penalty.
use it.
Saints had a penalty.
No.
Could have been a big shift that in the match.
Before we finish this game and move on, we just talk about the last try.
The winning try.
The winning
Yeah,
try.
it's good on this one.
Brilliant.
Played from deep Salford, something that we've seen as Salford quite a bit. They did this quite a lot against Warrington last week.
They had to, though. They were on tackle for. They were going nowhere, really.
Brilliant hands. Especially from the big man, Gil Dudson. Did really well to
Draw a defender.
draw a defender and get the ball out to, I think it was Mellor, who obviously gets the ball out further on.
There's a brilliant pass in this. And well, actually 2 brilliant passes in it. It's Atkin and Sneed both put brilliant passes in for this one. And then it's the
the offload to the winger
Do
to
you
get the winger in space.
Do you think there was a bit of poor St Helens defence in this? Numbered up wrong?
At the beginning, maybe, but I know once he gets into the space, Wonga Blake. Is it Wonga Blake or
What Blake is dealt left with basically
But,
a 3-on-1.
Blake's got a 3-on-1,
He can't do much with this.
and then is Wellesby the
He's the covering man.
he gets the 2-on-1. He's got no chance either, really.
My only criticism of Blake is I just think he should just back off. I think,
It's 3-on-1.
but you've seen Percival and is it Dodd that shoots up on Dudson?
I think Percival shoots in on
Well,
Dudson.
Once you see both of them shoot up, and you know you're not getting there, just back off. Don't make another mistake. By
It
another
weren't a set
defence.
line this though, was it?
No, and it's a difficult situation, and you're in the heat of the game, and
Yeah.
I want to credit Salford.
Yeah, it was a great move.
I think it was a really good try. Making the decisions at the right time. Would have been very easy to play it short.
It's like what we spoke about for the
It
cross
went out
for the
the
cross
back.
try. It's just good bodies in motion. It's just good. It's executed, well executed.
It's good rugby. It's good rugby.
You can't defend against it, really. It's perfect rugby.
It's good rugby.
So well done to Salford. You got to take Salford seriously now.
Yeah, 100%.
You got to take Salford as a contender seriously, especially at home.
Well, just
Done us a massive favour.
I wonder if it's going to get people back through the door.
I hope so.
I really hope it gets people back through the door.
I hope they keep on doing that.
We need a strong Salford.
Put some faith.
Yeah.
Joint points with Warrington on 20, who are in fourth. 2 points behind St Helens and Hull KR in second and third. But more crucially, it gives them a 4-point buffer over 7th. So Catalan are in 6th,
Leeds,
2 points behind.
Yeah.
But actually, to drop out of the top 6, they've got 2-game advantage. I think this puts them in a brilliant position.
And they've already played Saints twice. They've already played Wigan twice. They've already played Warrington twice. That stuff can't be underestimated.
They played Leigh twice.
Yeah, that can't be underestimated.
They've got a good running towards the back end of the season. They've got to play Hull FC twice. Cass once. It's almost a weaker back end of the season for them.
Yeah.
This week off will do them good, I think.
Yeah.
Get some players back, hopefully.
Some players back. I wonder how the injury is to Lafay. I've not heard anything.
Hope it's nothing serious for them.
Yep.
Before we finish, Wellens. Is he starting to fall under a bit of pressure?
Wellens is he's off contract next year. He's off contract, and there's not been any word on whether or not he's going to be St Helens coach next year.
I don't think he's under pressure.
I think he'll have the job next year.
He's sat in second, only 2 points behind.
I think he'll have the job
I know
next
we have
year.
got a game in hand as well, but no,
They still play us
not yet.
twice. It's still in. They still could beat us twice, and it's in their hands. You know what I mean? And we'll not go through the
It's
rest of the
too
season.
early.
without
Yeah,
losing
it's
this.
precious on when he's sat in second.
Yeah, I just think it's weird that his contract situation hasn't been dealt with, even though everyone assumes he's going to be in charge next year.
Yeah,
Big
Wait.
month for him, though.
Weird one.
I have just looked at the fixtures.
it's a big season. It's a big transition. Like you say, got people going out, some older players. You know, that the kind of stars in the squad are aging. They're going to need a bit of a transition.
I was having a look on. I was watching some of the content from Red V this week about the Salford game, and they were mentioning Tommy Makinson. Because obviously now officially Makinson's going to Catalan. I've been one on the podcast in the past who's said about when Robbie left, they spent big on Darryl Clark. You can't do that for every position. They've got a lot of players who are kind of coming to the end now. And Makinson's one who's leaving, but Makinson's full wage won't be on the cap. Makinson will have some dispensation. He's a homegrown academy player. England international. You get dispensation for
Look
that.
at the forwards that are going to be moving on soon. Parsi and Walmsley.
But you've got to replace Tommy
Both
Makinson.
halfbacks.
Yeah.
Dodd, we know, is off to South Sydney.
Dodd's off,
Lomax is getting on now. He's
Has
not going
Lomax
to
not
be.
just signed a 2-year extension?
Yeah, but
He's getting injured.
but
a bit more, he's getting a bit older.
the people that the lads that Saints fans are getting excited about in the academy are forwards. They've got some good young forwards coming through and some outside backs.
But they're not going to be ready for 4 or 5 years.
No halfbacks though. I don't hear any noise about halfbacks really. There might be one, but I'm hearing there's an excellent fullback and there's some good forwards. But what are they going to do? How are they going to replace Dodd? How are they going to replace Makinson?
the answer has to be Ritson or Benison, doesn't it? Blake, are you going to extend Blake's contract? Are you going to extend Hurrell's?
Mby's 31 this year.
I don't
get 2 years out of him.
This is a big year for them. Got to have success this year.
Very big year.
Got to have success.
That's interesting when you put it. When you start thinking into it deep.
So what is a successful season for them from this position? I reckon you could make the argument a League Leaders Shield. A League Leaders Shield and losing at some point in the playoffs.
It would take the pressure off.
I reckon that would take the pressure right off. If you finish top, that's going to take the pressure off. But
if they don't, they're under serious.
if they don't win anything,
next year's going to be massive.
could win a trophy in his first game and then never win another trophy again. Wellens. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And this job, St Helens' job, has obviously got a close link to him. I'm not sure other clubs will be lining up to take him on, you know. But that's something for another 6 months' time, really.
Yeah, depending on where they're at. Right, that sort of wraps up the table and around the league. A couple of teams in funny positions. Catalan, they want to back being sixth at the international break. Really,
I think Lear in the funniest position because they've had a bit of a renaissance and then they've lost a couple and drew with Cass.
I'm thinking they've dropped games at funny
Lear
times.
just had a really weird season and now it's looking like maybe they've not got enough time to have a run.
Yeah.
I feel bad for them. The timing of the season, they've been probably most affected by the timing this season. Like, not to be funny, would anyone have wanted to play Leeds this week with what was going on? Change of coach, the injuries at the start of the season.
Yeah, we'll see with Lee. We've spoken about the squad going to be getting younger for next year. They know, hopefully, they're in Super League. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with them.
Right, we're back to talk a little bit about the NRL. Thanks. So we're going to talk a little bit about the NRL. Only 5 games this week, with it being an Origin week. Let's start off with the Dolphins. They'll lose 30 points to 24 to Melbourne.
No hammer.
No hammer, no party.
They did play well though.
Was it 8 points at the end?
6 in the end, they won.
Yeah.
6 was it?
Decent game this. The Dolphins have had a few close games recently.
Yeah, they've just fallen outside of the top 4. But they've had some really close.
They'll be glad to be in it. I mean, I know they'll want to finish higher than, but the top 8 this year is a good year for them.
If they get top 8,
100%.
Yeah.
100%. Melbourne's gone top with that win, haven't they?
Melbourne's gone top.
They might have already been top actually. I think
They've gone clear at top.
they're still building a squad, aren't they? The Dolphins, really, when you think about it. So if they can get top 8, then they'll be pleased.
Yeah.
Melbourne doing this without Grant, without
Munster.
Pappenhausen was back. Did he without the Origin winger? Courts,
yeah.
They just keep producing players, don't they?
Yeah.
Melbourne are a good system, good setup, good team.
Yeah. Gold Coast. What a shock result this was.
Yeah, this was.
I forgot this game was on. I'm going to be honest. I forgot it was on.
Shock this was.
Forgot it was on. Didn't watch it.
Gold Coast got pumped by Wests. Was it last week?
Yeah, it was last week.
Yeah.
Just last week, they lost to West Tigers,
And then
and they go
beat
and do
the Warriors.
and not just beat the Warriors,
Batter.
absolutely butcher the Warriors.
66 points to 6.
66 points to 6 against the Warriors.
30-0 at half time.
Against the Wars, the bottom club in the league has won 66 points to 6 against anyone. What league have you ever seen where the bottom team can win 60 points?
It's a joke.
I
Ridiculous, isn't
can't
it?
believe it. I can't believe it. Eels have now gone bottom, haven't
Yeah, points difference in it.
they? Yeah.
What would you do actually? You're the coach in New Zealand Warriors. What do you say after that?
I don't know.
Do you go in and like give them a big spray? Do you like batter training this week? Because they've not even lost anyone for the Origin squad, have they? They've not got that excuse that they've lost 6.
No.
What do you do? Just like...
Well, they've lost Kurt Catewell.
Do you just pretend it didn't happen and say, well, we can't even... That's the worst performance we could have ever put out?
Well, I think they might do that.
I think they might just pretend it didn't happen. Honestly.
Burn the tape.
Yeah. The Roosters, 26 points to 8 over the Bulldogs. Good win for them. Especially with the few that they're missing. They still had Tedesco, still had Kira, who were around the Origin squad last time.
Yeah.
Big win for this.
Yeah,
it's
good.
always big to win.
I was impressed with this game. Nat Butcher, second rower. I was really impressed with him. He got a try, but it was more what he did without the ball that was impressive.
Even though it's an Origin week, still had a very strong squad, didn't they, the Roosters? Had Tedesco, had Joey Manu, Dom Young. What's 9 called? I forgot his name. Cheese.
Brandon Smith. Back in the side after
he was back in. So, they always have, they've got,
They've
even though
lost
it's an
Connor
Origin
Watson,
week, they've got a very, very strong squad.
The Bunnies, they won 14 points to 0.
Yeah.
Sacked the coach, moved White into 6, and they beat Para, Gold Coast, Brisbane and Manly in the 4 following weeks.
Who's currently coaching?
It's
So,
just...
Is it just an assistant who's took it?
Yeah.
Interim basis.
Interim coach.
I can't remember what his name was. It'll come to me in a minute.
Well, they're going to be Wayne Bennett, isn't it?
Yeah,
Next year.
Have they announced that yet?
No, it's not been announced.
Interesting. Last game. I'm so glad there was a certain player who managed to get a try right at the end. But West Tigers winning 48 points to 24. Matty, I know you're a Raiders fan.
I am, yeah. I am a Raiders fan.
What are you saying about that?
The Raiders are a really interesting team. On paper, they're not very strong. And once you take out Jamal Fogarty, which is their 7, he's obviously a really important player for them. And they've had quite a few wins this year, especially early doors, built on just working hard in the opposition and defending better. And it had them in the 8 for a while, but there's only so long you can do that, I think. Maybe teams have figured it out, although I didn't expect Wests to be one of those teams, because so far the Raiders seem to have lost to all the good teams.
And beat the weaker ones.
And beat some of the weaker ones. But yeah, losing to Wests, I was surprised. I think you may be on about your old friend Adam Dewey. Yeah,
I'm so happy for him.
Adam Dewey. One of the first ever weeks of this podcast, we mentioned Adam Dewey got injured. I think you were here, Lewis, so it was probably a month or 2 in, 5 or 6 weeks into starting the podcast. Adam Dewey got injured. And he's just back now.
Yeah.
So is it 3 complete knee reconstructions?
I can't believe he's back. I can't believe he's playing. I can't believe he scored. I think he'll be moving on at the end of the year.
Well, if he stays fit, he's a massive asset to
Big if that, though. Big if.
First game in over a year, 75 minutes.
When was the
14 runs for 212 metres.
We were saying a few weeks ago, are the Wests going to beat last year's total of 5 wins? Back-to-back wins now has helped them out. What are they on now? 3? Or have they got 2?
They're on
3. They got one early on this season.
West, they're on 12 points.
Yeah, but how many buys have they had?
So they beat Canberra, they beat Gold Coast, they beat Parramatta, beat Cronulla.
Oh yeah, of course, Cronulla.
So they've had 4 wins.
4 wins and 2 buys.
2 buys, it'll be, sorry, 12 points, won't it? 2 buys.
It was more about how many wins they've got, really.
Yeah.
4 wins. They only need 2 more to beat last year's total. I think they'll probably do it. Bateman's back next time.
Yeah.
Next
That'll
match.
help.
Bateman's back.
14 months without a game, Adam Dewey.
Yeah.
3 ACL operations.
14 months.
They talked to him and he said that he, after the last one, they rushed the operation, they didn't do it right. This was 2 operations 6 months apart, wasn't it? I remember reading right. They repaired something and then went back in and redid something else. I'm obviously not a doctor with that, but phenomenal.
Good comeback.
And
There's just some players you feel sorry for when this happened. Adam Dewey's,
Yeah.
Harry Newman's, Pappenhausen's. You just feel like, just
If
a
he-
career
if he can-
tainted by injuries, isn't it?
If
Some
he can
such
stay
talent
fit,
as well.
Yeah.
if he can stay fit and maybe play, because I don't think they'll play him week in, week out. They'll build him up over time, but he'll be a brilliant asset for any club.
Yeah.
Right, Wednesday is State of Origin. Before we dive into it, I'm going to ask you both for a prediction. Who are you backing? The Blues are 1-0 down. Obviously, a lot of went down to 12 men early on in the last game. Matty, who are you backing?
I'd love for this to be New South Wales by 2, Latrell man of the match, or Stephen Crichton man of the match, or something interesting, and take it to a decider at Suncorp. Just can't see it. I just can't see it. I think it's going to be Queensland again. I said last week, Hamiso Tabuai-Fidow had the hammer. Is my favourite player to watch. I know people like watching Reece Walsh, people like Ponga. But for NRL, my favourite player to watch is the hammer. And I'm going to say it, I think they've got the best front row on the planet. I think Lindsay Collins is everything you want in a prop forward and more. I've never watched a game where Lindsay Collins has played and thought he's had a bad game. He's absolutely fantastic. He's so hard working, and then he's got a bit of magic as well, a bit of X factor where he can crash through a hole, or he can, like last year in was it game 3 where he outjumped James Tedesco and set up a try from a kick, chip and chase. He just does things that you think, why is a prop forward doing that? But then he's also amazing at the fundamentals of being a prop. So that's my love letter to Lindsay Collins over. I think Queensland are going to win because they've got a better side. It's not often Queensland have got the better side, is it?
No.
But I think this year...
Not in recent years, anyway.
No,
Since
really,
that
yeah.
golden kind of age of
Queensland.
Queensland
When we were kids, the golden generation.
Billy Slater, Jonathan Thurston.
You could name it now. Billy Slater.
Cameron Smith.
Billy Slater was a full-back, and then you used to have Darius Boyd on the wing. You have Greg Inglis, Justin Hodges as centre. Maybe like a Gerald Gao-Yi, do you remember him? Gerald. Mm-hmm. And then Lockyer and Thurston in the halves.
Oh, that Cronk on the bench.
Yeah, Cronk.
Couldn't get him into the game.
Cronk on the bench. You had Cam Smith, obviously, at 9. You'd have like Nate Miles at 13.
Petrol Sivanisiva.
Petrol Sivanisiva. Matt Scott. He was a good prop, wasn't he, Matt Scott? Like solid prop. Sam Thaiday in the back row.
Who was the other second rower?
I can't think now. They would have probably rotated that one. But it's like, you think 12 of those 13 are legends.
Matt Gillett for a period.
Yeah, Matt Gillett played a bit there, didn't he?
Yeah,
Matt Gillett played there for a while. It was like 30...
New South Wales and Gallum.
Yeah, Paul Gallum was always going up against him. He was always fighting against Nate Miles. Yeah, the 213s. Yeah.
Some side.
So that Queensland side, like, they were all stars, that we all remember them fondly. And it's ridiculous, really, when you think about it. And they almost all played for Australia as well. But since then, you're right, since they broke up that, because they won 8 in a row, and then New South Wales won 1, and it feels like New South Wales have had the best side every year until they've not won every year. They've not won many, actually. You remember the Wayne Bennett's boys winning in 2020.
Yeah.
The series last year.
It's always felt like in the past few years, it's felt like they've pinched
as an underdog.
Series win as the underdog.
Yeah. Whereas this year,
although, did you not remember
Queensland
when they had them like 12 aside? They somehow always convinced everyone that they were the underdogs.
Well, they never did when they had the golden generation, but they've convinced themselves they're underdogs this year. I think somehow, even though they're favourites this year, they've just got a better squad. This is as good a Queensland side as they've had for a while.
Yeah.
Since that golden generation, this is the best side they've had for ages.
Lewis, I'm going to go for the Blues, and I'm going to back Latrell for a man of the match performance. Who are you backing?
Yeah, I said Blues last week, didn't I? I said I want it to be more to Hawk than anything.
I want it to be a decider.
I deciders.
I can't see. We've just been watching Gus Gould hype speeches before the games, and we were trying to work out if we could change the words slightly to make it for the exams, for our students at school. Gus Gould hyping them up for the exams. But just everything's big about it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everything about Origin is enormous. It's like must-watch television.
And they do it so well.
Brilliant.
So well.
Brilliant. Yeah, they do. And this one's in the MCG.
Yeah.
So 100,000 potentially. I don't know if it's packed. The women's game, that's gone to a decider. First ever decider in the women's Origin.
Yes.
Under 19's Origin was last week. That was incredible.
Yeah.
Some great players in that. Some great
Big
players.
bust up one.
14-10, there was a bust up. It was a classic match, so you got to watch the highlights for that one. 14-10 was a classic match. some good tries. I saw a few plays of like Reece Walsh playing in that a few years ago. Cleary. Yeah. So the hopefully the men's game on Wednesday will be living up to it.
Yeah.
Right. I think that wraps it up.
No predictions. No predictions, but
Oh yeah, no predictions.
Should we run through the scores?
to do the scores on the
Scores on the doors.
from last week. So Lewis, you only got 3
I did. I've had a bad week this week. on
last week.
predictions.
You've only got 3. The listeners only got 4. I'll say why in a minute. Me and you, Tom, we got 5 each. So that's good. So the scores are currently: you're on 65, Tom.
Ooh.
Lewis on 63. So you were beating Tom. I'm on
Yeah,
66 and the listener's 68. So we've clawed one back.
Have I gained one on you?
No, because we got the same score.
We get the
this
same,
week,
sorry.
So I'm still one ahead. You were already one behind.
You got a bit of a bone to pick here, haven't you?
Yeah, well, the listeners didn't get a point for Salford against St Helens because they didn't pick a winner. It was 50-50.
You know how lucky they would have been, it being a draw.
If it was a draw, I would have given them a point. Yeah. If it was a golden point draw, even if it went to golden point, I probably would have given it to them.
Nah.
But like that Lee and Cass game, if it was a draw, because no one got a point on that Lee and Cass game. But on this one, if 80 odd of you can't come to a decision and pick a winner, you don't deserve a point either way. You know the majority rules. This is democracy manifest. To quote that famous video, democracy manifest. You don't deserve a winner, so you only get 4 this week, listeners.
Yeah.
But well done for still winning. You're still in the lead.
Right. I think that wraps it up.
Yep.
We'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Preparing for the end of Super League, the running at the back end of the season after the international break.
We'll talk about England. We'll talk about Origin. Yeah.
Matty, Lewis, thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
No problem at all.
And it's good being top of the table.
Of course
It is indeed.
See you later.
Yeah.